And this is going to be very, very interesting. And I hope all of you who have dogs and cats or children or who care for yourselves pay very close attention. This is a one-size-fits-all kind of a discussion we're going to have now. The product is BioSuperfood. You know about it. We do talk about it quite often in relation to the work that Dr. Michael Kiriak did in creating it to help after the Chernobyl catastrophe and what it does to help minimize and mitigate the exposure and issues of radioactivity. Other than that, BioSuperfood is a super food. I think you could live on it. I'm not going to tell anybody to do that, but I think you could. It has apparently, well, we'll find out for sure, but my memory is telling me it's got thousands of nutrients in it. It's composed of the 4 best algae on the planet. It's extraordinary. And what we're going to do is talk to our friend and supporter of this program, Roland Thomas. This product is something that I'm going to tell you a story in a little while about. Now, I've used BioSuperfood every day for years, but I have a dog. I'm going to tell you a story about that dog in a little bit. But let me welcome back Roland Thomas. Hello, Roland. Thanks for being here tonight.
Hello, Jeff, and thank you for having us tonight.
The idea of giving somebody, Roland, a product like this, so unique, so powerful nutritionally, is, to me, really extraordinary. There are a lot of people out there who have products and they talk about them, but this is truly at the top of the pyramid. This is the best of the best. And how many years have you been involved with this now? I forgot.
Yeah, I have no doubt, Jeff. It's coming on 20 years.
Yeah.
And the way that I describe it, generally, instead of getting into the bits and pieces, is I typically will tell people, you want to add life to your life, just consume BioSuperfood. That's what it does.
That's a great way to do it. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't get into the minutia. Keep it simple.
I can get into it all day, all night long, but literally, that's the feeling that people share with us. That's the feeling you might feel on the first day of consuming it. And from there, you'll understand what happens next. You get energy, or you sleep better, you have more frequent bowel movement. Things happen. And whether you're a cat, a dog, a cow, a horse, an elephant, a woman or a man, things happen, and it's tangible, noticeable. Not only personally, you'll notice it and see it, but scientifically, it's demonstratable within days that, for example, a certain hormone level will change, blood sugar level will change, blood pressure level will change, your thyroid hormones will regress, you'll have less pain, and on and on. It's obviously unique to each person, the results that you obtain, but it's in your face and very quickly.
Very quickly, especially for the average American who is so nutritionally deprived, even though they think they're eating healthily, they're not, because American food is probably as empty of nutrition as it is toxic with chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, not to even mention GMOs. So there's nothing in the American food diet, the great American diet, that will allow any of us to really increase our level of health. We have to fight. Our immune system literally has to attack much of the food we eat to take on the toxins in it. That's crazy. So it's degrading and demeaning your immunological function 24 hours a day. So the more nutritionally depleted you are and unhealthy you are, the quicker you're going to notice BioSuperfood and what it does for you.
That's true. I know you have some stories to tell, and I have many, but this one is very personal. I was in Florida last week, and I met a friend of 50 years that I hadn't seen in about 48 years.
Wow.
73 years old, and an artist, and he was very active, playing tennis quasi daily down there. It's always sunny.
Uh-huh.
And as we were having dinner, he shared with me that he wasn't active anymore, that he had a great back problem, and he touched his kidney, and signifying down there somewhere.
Right.
And I basically, at the end of the conversation, I shared my story about my back problem 20 years ago, how it helped me to clear within weeks. And I started running marathon. You know my story. I lost weight and so on and so forth. I could talk about my story. But anyway, this fellow, his name is Michael. And I left him with half a small bottle, about 40 capsules of the BioSuperfood. And I said, I won't tell you what you'll notice, but expect some results. And this morning, he called me. He sat on his phone and it dialed my number. And then he hung up. We didn't speak, so I called him back. I thought he wanted to speak to me. So anyway, make a long story short, I called him and I said, okay, a butt call. Okay, so how are you doing, by the way, with the capsule? He said, I'm taking them. I think he was taking 6 a day. He said, I don't know if it's the capsule, but I'm feeling better, my back's feeling. I said, hey, carry on and we'll speak next week. I don't want to induce placebo belief. I said, you'll tell me. And then we left it at that. But that's what happens, It's just funny. Marvelous. 73-year-old man will be able to play tennis. I'm certain of that within a week or two.
Why is it that people do that? I don't know if there's any connection with this when they're doing something that is so overwhelmingly good. They just don't want to give it the credit right away. A lot of people, not everybody, but that's funny. I've heard that so many times.
Well, he was hinting because he trusts me. We were a very, very good friend, and we were never enemies. So right. I think he was hinting that it's likely the capsule, the BioSuperfood. Yeah, that was very cute.
That is funny. Now, when you go to the site to order BioSuperfood, you'll see a number of interesting things. When you click on the banner at the top of Rents, you'll go to a very interesting page. It has a lot to do with Fukushima, but then it gets into the actual product, and you'll see capsules and so forth. These are little capsules, by the way. They're not huge. They're very easy and comfortable to take. A lot of people don't like capsules, and I understand that.
Yeah.
At the very bottom of the page, there's a big click here, and it'll take you right to BioAge, BioAge.com, BioAge.com. And from that landing page, you'll be able to find and look at the different products. Where should we tell them to go first on that page?
Well, I think there's research. If you're curious and if you're skeptical about what we're talking about, go take a look at the research. It details 15 years of Soviet research performed under the Academy of Science, a very scientific model of research done with animals, with over 1 million animals involved, 20 animal species tested thoroughly, undeniably, without placebo effect, without even a profit-oriented, result. Because typically research for drugs or supplements is done to make money, so sometimes the research are, altered or modified or manipulated. Right. So this was pure research. And so look at that. Otherwise, you can look at the products. There's a per product tab at the top, and you'll see 2 different products, BioSuperfood and BioPreparation, which is the animal version, which resembles very much the human version. Yeah, you can literally consume one or the other, but we have one that is for animals specifically called BioPreparation. And just visit the site and send us an email. You can get a free book that details the 15 years of research called Awakening the Genius Within.com. You can download the e-version, or you can request a hard copy. We'll be happy to send it to you for free.
Very nice. Okay, BioPreparation is for pets. I'm kind of trying to nudge Roland into putting a picture of a dog and cat on the bottle, just to make the point more clear. Here's my story. I have, well, first of all, let's bring Maureen on here, Maureen Murphy. Maureen, hi and welcome. Thanks for standing by so quietly.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And we're going to talk to you in just a minute. I'm going to tell my little story and get that out of the way. As I mentioned, okay. I've been using this amazing nutritional superfood for years. And I don't know how I do what I do. I shouldn't be able to work this hard. I shouldn't. And if it weren't for bio superfood, I don't think I could. In fact, I know I couldn't. I just couldn't. I take 8 capsules a day of the F3, which is the slightly stronger version. And that is the difference between being able to do what I do and not do it. Now, I have a Sheltie, a little Shetland sheepdog. It looks like a little collie. Most people say, a miniature collie. Well, they're really not. They're a different breed, but they look like a collie. And I don't know how old he is exactly. He's probably 16, maybe 17. And about a year and a half ago, he got to the point where he just wasn't moving. He didn't want to get up. His legs hurt. He was limping. His hips hurt. He didn't have a glow anymore. He's just getting to the end. And I don't know, 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, I said, what the hell? I got this incredible product. Why can't I give it to him? So I got a bottle and I took a capsule out and he'll open his mouth. He gently opened his mouth. I put it on the back of his tongue. He swallowed it right down. And the next day, he was able to get up and he was trotting a little bit, walking very fast. And within a week, he was running. I'm not kidding. I could not believe my eyes. And now, after at least 2 months, his coat, his face looks like a puppy, a 2-year-old dog now. He looks like, I'm not kidding you. His eyes are bright. He runs. He can jump in the air. I'm not joking. This is not a joke. It is what I would call miraculous, a miracle. And what it is, it's bio superfood nutrition. Any of you who have a dog or a cat, look at the video. Any of you who have a dog or a cat, after you've gotten yourself on this, give a capsule each to your dog and cat. Just try it for a week and see. If you have to mix it in wet pet food, fine, do it. Just open the capsule, put it in, mix it, canned cat food, get organic, good stuff. Same with the dog. Or if you've got a dog that'll swallow capsules, mine will. You've got to do this. Just try it for a week, please. And if your pet doesn't noticeably show happiness, vigor, activity, far in excess of what it does now, especially if the dog's older, I will be shocked. In fact, I won't believe it. 2 weeks, you'll have a near puppy again. In so many ways. Yes, they're physically older, but the attitude and the physical, nutritional adrenaline strength from nutrition you get, I'm not talking about adrenaline in the traditional sense. I'm using it euphemistically. But it's a miracle. I've got a young, happy dog again. And I couldn't be happier, Roland. You know, you've heard these stories.
Yes, and Jeff, and not only do I believe you, but I see it, I hear it every day. And talk about adding life to your life, eh?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like, and it's not a miracle. It's absolutely scientifically explainable. There's rational as to why this happened. It's not, we say it's like a miracle, but it's not. It's simply pure science. And there are many stories like that. One was with Snoopy, again, a 14-year-old, I forget the breed, a small dog that was scheduled to be euthanized because of severe arthritic pain. on the back legs and couldn't jump, couldn't walk anymore, was crawling pretty much. And the lady that loved her dog so much accepted the suggestion to give it some capsule, some little bit of biosuperfood every day. And the dog lived 2 years longer, jumping on the bed, jumping on her lap. And when he passed, she literally sent us a note sharing that Snoopy was his name, had died as a puppy, like a puppy.
I absolutely
happy
believe it.
yeah. So that's.
I have seen this with my own eyes.
The cat and dog on the video that you may watch, that you're suggesting for people to watch, that cat lived to be 18 years old, and this is a rag doll. Typically they live 14 to 15.
Big cats. Yeah.
Yeah. And he lived 18, but no vet, no medication, no supplements, no pain. He died basically by our fireplace gradually over a space of a couple of weeks, and no pain and no complaint. It was just magnificent.
Wow. All right. Let's bring Maureen on here now. She is a certified nutritionist, and a good nutritionist is worth his or her weight in gold, in my view. So, Maureen, tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and your background.
Well, I've always had an interest in natural health for my whole life, but I started my own business about 3 years ago, and I had a store that I sold initially antiques and critter collectibles, but eventually I moved over into the holistic solutions for pets and people. I started selling good pet foods and treats, and then toys and anything to do with pets. And I got into where I was dealing with holistic solutions, whether they were homeopathic, herbal, natural superfoods, you name it. I got into anything that was safe and natural for our pet, our companion animals. And so I was pretty familiar with a lot of different solutions, and I've tried a lot of different products, and a lot of them didn't live up to their marketing, let's say.
Right.
So when I experimented with anything that really worked, I really stuck with it, and I made sure everybody I came in contact with knew about it. But I have since gone to school for the nutritionist. I'm almost completed my naturopath degree as well. And I've been working with BioAge for the better part of 9 years between my store and then working.
You've been rolling a long time. This is very interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let me ask you this question, and I'm not being facetious. I tried to describe the average American's health and diet earlier, that the food is actually on the negative side of the ledger when you take into account all the toxicity in it and the fact that it's grown in empty soils. Oh, it looks pretty, but it's worthless. It is literally making people sick and shortening lives. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely, and it's the same goes for our companion animals. A lot of people, there's so much marketing hype for various foods out there, and they're total junk. And I started realizing very early on with my clients in my store, they'd come in and they'd tell me, oh, my dog has allergies, my cat has kidney failure, my pet has arthritis, and my first question to them always boiled down to, all right, let's start with the basics. What are you feeding them?
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't know this, Maureen. I've created and built and opened 5 full-service pet stores in the past. And
I didn't realize that. Right.
Yes, I did. And the reason I opened the first one because I was so repulsed by most pet stores and disgusted by pet foods And my stores had the best organic and cleanest, most wholesome foods for animals I could possibly find. I only wish, that was years ago, I only wished I had had BioSuperfood then, because every single person who had a pet would have gone out that door with a bottle, not only for their companion animals, but for themselves.
Absolutely.
So,
Maureen as well. How many animals do you have, Maureen, as well, that you've been using the product with?
I would like to say that they are, I don't want to give the impression that I'm like a crazy pet person, but I call them my highly paid panel of testers. So when I was very active with my store, I mean, my animals tried all of my foods. They tried all of the supplements, the homeopathics, the herbals, and I had a variety of issues with my animals. I had some with plumbing issues, whether it be urinary tract problems or constipation issues or both, or diarrhea.
Yeah.
I had people, animals with older animals with mobility issues, vision problems, kidney.
An astonishing thing that I've gone through in the last 2 months, to see a dog that literally was not able to do much of anything, and I've only fed him organic food. Castor and Pollux, excellent line of organic. Please don't buy anything that's not organic for your pets. But he was just getting to the point where he had too many years of running and jumping and arthritis and pain. It's not there anymore. I can't explain it, except BioSuperfood gave him the nutritional baseline that he was not getting even with the organic pet food. And it didn't take long, and astonishing things I've seen. Go ahead, Maureen, please.
Oh, well, where were we?
You were talking about your 12 paid professional taste testers or something.
Yeah, that's right, my highly paid panel of testers. Well, so I literally, I considered them part of my team as opposed to just my pets.
You bet.
And they help me to distinguish good products from bad, and what was really effective. And so, be it food or supplement, etc. Well, I had one little feline member of the household who was dying of kidney failure. And she was really struggling, and I had her to the vet several times and a couple different vets, and then she got to a point where she wasn't eating and she was vomiting up stomach fluids every morning, and my vet said, it's time. You can't do anything more for her. It's time to put her down. And she was a very special little one, so I wasn't ready to give up. And I went online, as I frequently did, and did a heck of a lot of research, and I found the BioSuperfood biopreparation products mentioned on a holistic veterinarian site that I had followed. And I thought, what have I got to lose? Ordered it. Thought she was always dubbed picky princess her entire life. She was very finicky for feline. And I thought, well, I don't know how I'm going to get it in her, but I'm going to certainly try. And this is a cat who hadn't eaten for about 5 days when I got it. Mixed a little bit of the powder, I twisted the capsule open, mixed a little bit of the powdered algae product into a little bit of canned food, and she gobbled it up like there was no tomorrow. And I was shocked. And from that day forward, this cat that I was told was at the end, she lived 2.5 more years with no other veterinary intervention, no other change in anything. And if anybody listening has had an animal with kidney failure, they know that part of the problem is, a big part of the problem is getting them to eat and getting them to eat anything. She voraciously ate between 4 and 6 bowls of food daily from that point until she died.
Wow.
2.5 years later. And every one of them, I included extra fluids and some biopreparation. And I had a number of different veterinarians that came into my store, some that I knew were veterinarians and a few that I didn't. And they'd be poking around, and Tico would jump up on the counter and welcome them, and I'd tell them her story. And I had met, before I even knew they were vets, they would look at me and they'd say, whatever you are doing, you keep it up. She has no right to look this good. She was almost 18 and she had kidney failure. And so that's how I really got into the product and started giving it to all of my animals. And I saw palpable benefits in every one of them. Mm-hmm. And I was taking it and I felt the difference myself. And I was a convert. I started selling the heck out of it. Everybody that came into my contact knew about it. And that's all she wrote. I basically recommend it to anybody.
Oh, anybody still above room temperature should be taking this. Yes. And they'll live longer. It's yep. None of this is an exaggeration. None of it. And I, again, fed my little friend organic food his whole life. And my pet stores always had the best quality I could possibly find. And it wasn't easy then. If you're feeding your dog or cat non-organic, commercially produced pet food, you are, I don't want to be coarse, but you're killing your animal. You're killing your friend. You are killing something that depends on you. It's poison. It's toxic. It's roadkill. It's chemicals, unregulated. It is absolute garbage. The name I gave you earlier it's two names, Castor and Pollux, Pollux. They make dog food. I'm not sure if they make cat food. I think they do. But organic. And if you eat eggs, organic eggs are the only eggs you should eat. That means the hen cannot be fed anything except 100% organic, pesticide, herbicide free, and so forth. So be careful about that too. But what Maureen just said is all true. And I just hope we're getting some of you out there to listen who haven't. Try it yourself. Get a couple of bottles and include your dog or your cat or your cats or your dogs. Give them each, the dogs, a capsule a day. And give the cats maybe what? How much, Maureen? You give them half a capsule and mixed in wet food?
The thing for what I recommend for small dogs or cats is you always are going to start off with a smaller amount than you're going to end up.
Yes.
And so I say you start with just a tiny bit, like even just like an eighth of a capsule or less. Uh-huh. And you mix it in well with their food. And by the way, for those of you who are saying my animal won't eat it, they're very picky, again, most of my cats felt like this, it was almost a treat. I would sometimes put a little bit of the powder in the bowl and get distracted, get a phone call or something. And I'd come back in the kitchen and someone had gotten up on the counter and licked all the bowls clean. So don't assume that your cat or your dog won't like the taste of it. Of course, there's always exceptions, but by and large, most cats and dogs actually find it highly palatable.
Well, look at the video at the bottom of guests, and you'll see.
Right.
You'll see a beautiful cat. That cat, all you got, put the capsule on the floor, cat chewed it up, licked the floor clean.
Yeah, let me just add a little bit to that story. That cat, his name was Mustache, and in the summertime or fall or spring, I run in my shorter pants. But every morning when I would go to my bottle to take my own capsule, Mustache would come right behind me, sometimes surprise me, and bite my calf. Turn his head sideways and bite my calf. So I would give him his capsule, a whole capsule, literally. For
Wow.
years that went on. For years that went on. I mean, this cat loved the BioSuperfood. And the dog there follows me every time I go take my capsule because he wants his capsule. They know.
They do
and,
know.
Algae have been around for thousands of years, and animals know it instinctively what's good for them. And you will notice it too. You will start wanting it badly. Somewhat like you, Jeff, I need it to do the kind of work I do, and it's been supporting me tremendously for 20 years nearly.
Yeah.
Carry on, Maureen.
Oh, yeah, Jeff, I was just going to refer any of your listeners, if they want to read more about using BioSuperfood, or as we call it generically, BAC, B-A-C, which stands for Bioalgae Concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
They can go to a website, quantumleapwellness.com. And on that, they can go to the BioNews archive link, and they will find where I wrote a couple of articles back a couple of years ago, 2015. It was Back for Animals Part 1 and Part 2, and there's some good information there, including how to give it to the pets and how much to give them and how to start. There's some stories about Roland's animals and some of my animals, and so there's a lot of good recommendations in those two articles that might be beneficial if someone's interested.
Give us the website name again.
It's quantumleapwellness.com.
Got it. quantumleapwellness.com. Okay.
And then click on the BioNews link, and then you'll find archives of all the old articles. And like I said, back in 2015, these two, it's called Back for Pets 1 and 2.
Very good. Okay. The idea, again, of all of you, and that's most of you, and I'm talking to you who may live in India, in Europe, the South Pacific, it doesn't matter. Nobody in this day and age can derive enough natural sustenance from commercially produced food. I'm not talking about you raise your own. I'm talking about commercially produced foods. You can't do it. You've got to take the extra step. And a lot of you say, well, I can't stop eating what I'm eating. I don't have time to prepare this or that. And, all right, I'll meet you halfway. Take the BioSuperfood with what you feel you have to eat, and you're going to be better whether you want to be or not. Try it.
I got to do something, Jeff. Do you mind if I take a minute here?
No, go ahead, please.
I want to lead people to another web page, but I will also quickly read. It's a page that contains 50 or so animal testimonials, and it's at themagicisback.com. It's
themagicisback.com, all right?
Yeah, it can be spelled B-A-C or B-A-C-K. Anyway, on that page, go to animal, in the table of content, go to animal use or animal stories. And just quickly go down the list of many of the testimonials, just to get excited here. And what's interesting is many of those lines that I'm going to read, you can also, we also see that with humans. But, let me read those. I don't know if people are familiar with IMHA. It's a deadly killing disease in dogs. Immune-mediated hemolytic anemia. It's basically a cancer of the blood. It kills 50% of dogs within 2 weeks of diagnosis, and the mortality rate is 80%, 20% survival. With in our several years of study, 1 year we had 189 cases that we end up working with pretty much when they're told to euthanize the dog because we don't get the first call to the vet. We're like the holistic arena.
Right.
People come to us when they're desperate.
What is the link again, Roland, please? The link?
The link is themagicisback.com.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
I'm there.
And our survival rate on 189 dogs is 50%. Not 80% mortality rate. It's 50% survival rate. Once they're nearly dead on the floor. So anyway, let me read.
And what is the category, please, for the testimonials?
You go to in table of contents.
Yes.
You'll scroll down and you'll find human cases or animal testimonials. There's a whole slew of. It's basically a web page on the research. A lot more research about the bioalgae, about the biosuperfood.
Okay, I need you to help me find this. I'm not finding it.
All right, so you're at themagicisback.com.
Go ahead, Maureen.
What I was going to say, the beauty of that particular site is there is a search engine. So you can look down the table of contents, but you can also, in the search engine box, you can type in IMHA, and you will see a number of testimonials and a number of articles.
Very good. Okay, and Roland, where are
or something else?
Where are most of the testimonials again? The name of the table of contents link?
Yeah, table of content, and then you scroll down to animal use, testimonials, and cases.
Animal? Hold on. How far down?
Yeah. It's near the bottom. It's like 6 lines from the bottom.
Okay, there it is. Six lines from the bottom. Animal use.
You should click on it. Yeah, you click on it and just read the highlights. I mean, you can click on those, but to see the details. But if you read the highlights, you'll be excited.
Got it.
I mean, it's amazing.
And I'd be willing to bet that IMHA is caused by diet.
Absolutely. By dry kibbles mostly, and the poison dead food with phony meat at the top there, with a ton of whatever compounds they add in these types of food to keep them preserved. And
where do you think all the roadkill goes, ladies and gentlemen? It goes to these huge rendering plants. At big vats where they throw the bodies of the dead animals, skunks, deer, raccoons, you name it, in there. Where do you think they take most of the animals that are euthanized? They take them to these rendering plants, and in the food itself that your dog is eating are the very chemicals used to put the animals to sleep. It's no joke. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Not to mention, could be some of their own species. That were
true.
Euthanized pets.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no regulation, for pet food. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to read all the cases, but just a few of them. The many where it gave my pet, my dog Jerry, 2 additional years, saved from Ehrlichia canis, back and clearly saved her life, from 3 seizures daily to 1 or 2 during the last 2 years. Drifting away from IMHA to completely healthy. 18-year-old Sophie, no more kidney disease. I could go on and on. You guys can go visit that page at themagicisback.com and go to animal use, testimonials and cases. And these are real cases. We can get you in contact with the owners of these animals. Many are signed with the name of the owners.
Uh-huh. And, all right, it's again, the magic is back. You can spell it BAC or BACK.com. Themagicisback.com. Look for table of contents. Scroll down to the bottom of the table of contents, and about 6 up from the bottom, it says Animal Use Testimonials and Cases. Click on that, and that's what Roland was reading from, just some of the titles of some of these testimonials, okay? My 12-year-old cat acts like a kitten. Dog made complete recovery from IMHA. Now we both take BioSuperfood. Cat recovered to full health. She's staying on BioSuperfood no matter what. It goes on and on. It's all there. All there. Wonderful. It's wonderful. I didn't know about this until... See, I called... listen to this. Hold on, Roland. I called Roland. What did I call you, last week? And I said, Roland, you've got to bring out a line of this for dogs and cats. And I told him my story, and he was kind enough just to listen. And he said, we already have it. I didn't know. I've always been hung up on the BioSuperfood for people.
Yeah, we've always talked about that, yeah. I was surprised. I giggled.
You did
when you shared your story about your Shetland. Well,
all
good
right.
for you.
Go ahead, Roland.
Oh, I was done. Maureen, you were.
Yeah, we have about 3 minutes, Maureen. So let's bring this home. And you've been really a great guest. Thank you for sharing.
Well, you bet. And well, again, I've used the bio preparation with my pets. There has been some attrition over the years. I haven't replenished my panel of testers so much, but they've all lived good, healthy lives, and they get the best possible food. And every one of them, going on 8-9 years now, gets bio preparation every single day, twice a day, mixed in their food. And their coats, I'm just going to tell you, one of my other cats was prone to kidney, issues, urinary tract issues. He had chronic sludge that would reoccur all the time. And he had problems with constipation and ear infections and overweight, all kinds of things. Everything improved with him. My dog was 13 at the time. I put him on it, and he suddenly was able to jump in and out of my car without any problem. His eyes had started to, I don't know if they were full-on cataracts, but his eyes had been clouded up, and they cleared. He had his coat improved. Even though all my animals were getting the best of foods and supplements their whole life, I saw even palpable improvements, and my customers noticed these improvements. They said, hey, your animals always look great, but what are you doing different? Because they look even better. What's going on? And that was because of the bio preparation being introduced into their daily regimen.
Here's a real quickie for you.
Every one of them improved.
Yes. Here's a quick one for you bird lovers out there, and I used to have a lot of parrots. I've been enjoying the bioalgae concentrates myself for over 9 years, and so 3 months ago I started giving the BioSuperfood to my 2 cockatiel parrots. Almost immediately I noticed that they started drinking almost double the amount of water and that they were eating only half of what they were normally eating before. Yet they did appear more lively. Their droppings became smaller. The awful pet store cage smell is gone. So it doesn't matter if it's a living being, it's going to benefit from these wonderful products.
We've got cases with horses. We've got cases with all kinds of birds, lizards. I mean, literally anybody, even fish, you could give it to. You know, I mean, any species.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Wow. Well, Maureen, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Continue the good work you're doing, helping people understand how to allow their friends, their little friends, to live longer and far healthier. And then don't forget, take care of yourselves. If you're not a healthy owner, you can't take as good care of your pets as you ought to. So thank you, Maureen, very much.